Today I want to talk to you about mobility and e-bikes, public land. Okay, in South Carolina, they've recently changed the rules on using electric bikes on public land, and there's some stipulations. On WMA lands, Class 1 electric bikes may be used on open roads and established roadways where traditional bicycles are allowed. This regulation does not apply to lands of Francis Marion or Sumter National Forest and WMA program. That opens up a door of opportunity for faster travel for hunters who need to get somewhere quicker with mobility and quietness. I'm gonna go ahead and have my disclaimer. Check the laws, double check. I'd rather you be safe just in case, okay? Class 1 e-bike is a bike that is pedal assist only. That means when you pedal the bike, the motor goes, and also it goes up to 20 miles an hour. To convert this bike to a Class 1, I would more or less have to remove the throttle on this bike by using the Allen wrenches. I take this handle off, take the throttle off, and then there's a connection for this throttle that runs down into here, and I can disconnect it and remove that throttle. You can even go into the settings here and adjust the settings to be able to adapt and change it so when you're in your highest speed, it goes up to a certain miles per hour, etc. So you may want to play around with that. I mean, because 20 miles an hour, that can be a bit iffy depending on how much weight you're pulling, what kind of roads you're on. I mean, if you're on one road, you might be 18. If you're on another one, you might be 21, 22, but it's generally around that 20 mile an hour area. Just make sure you do your research on your own bike so you can get everything straight. So when you go on public land, you can have everything set for that specific property. I want to talk about these tires right here. These are actually the 20-inch tires. This e-bike is a folding e-bike. So you can see here where I have, I can take this apart and unfold the e-bike. Take it out. Now, one thing I will say, when you do latch this piece back on, you're gonna have to keep this cleaned out here, because when you get dirt and grime and stuff, sometimes it don't wanna stay latched. But I've even had it come unlatched before, but it'll still ride and everything. Are you ready to go? So there are folding e-bikes with larger tires. They also make a lot of them in 26-inch tires. It could be more beneficial if you're going in, maybe some rougher terrain, depending on. I like the small 20-inch tires, but everybody has their preference. I've had this bike for several years now, and this little bike has been really, really good for what I've used it for. But the 26-inch may be great if you're folding it up and you're going to put it in your vehicle. Then the 20-inch is a lot more convenient. If you're putting it outside your vehicle, you may want to go with the 26. These are the 20-inch tires, and those are the 26s. So you can see the difference. I have not taken this bike hunting. This is a 750 watt bike with 26-inch tires, 500 watt with 20-inch. One thing that I will say is a 750 may be beneficial, especially with torque and things like that, but the 500 seems to work for me pretty good. But looking back, the 750 would do better. The downside though is when you start getting into higher wattages, you may start going into higher speeds, which may also make it harder to get your bike down to a Class 1. So do your research on your adjustments. Can you adjust your settings to, can you remove your throttles, etc., to make sure you're at that correct range. If you're gonna hunt public land right off the bat, in most cases, from what I'm seeing, I wouldn't go above a 750 watt. Because even I think, and again, double check me on this, a lot of the regulations that I'm seeing when they're talking wattage, a lot of times they're usually 750 or lower. Is what's allowable. If I want to haul a deer, first thing you got to remember is what are you hauling it through, okay? People, you know, I have another video, if you look back on my past videos, talking about the e-bike, and I pulling a doe out of a field on that. You get a lot of comments, a lot of people coming in and saying, well, you know, you're gonna burn your motor up. Well, that's very possible if you're straining your motor. You have to know what your e-bike is capable of. Again, I'm a skinnier guy. If you're a heavier guy, you're not gonna get out there and pull a 200, 250 pound deer out through mud and all that. It just ain't gonna happen. So you just gotta use wisdom on your equipment, know your gear. That's so important. Okay, so when hooking up the deer cart, it isn't rocket science. I put an eye bolt through the middle and I just attach it to here. So I'm just gonna run some 550 cord and I'm gonna go over the top, and then I'm gonna go back the middle of my rack and I'm gonna basically tie it off here. So to simulate some weight, and I'm going about 8 miles an hour right now. You can haul weight. I'm actually gonna take a trail in the woods here. Again, the trail is fairly solid. I've got a good path of travel, even though it does need to be cleaned up a little bit. But it's hauling this no problem. You just gotta know your gear. Now I'm going up a small hill and I can feel it, you know, slowing down. Just not a big hill, just a little small hill. I know what it's capable of, know why you're getting it. You just gotta make sure you're getting the right kind of equipment based on what you need. And then what are you pulling it through? So you're not gonna take this through heavy mud. This will not go where an ATV goes. Another modification that I would encourage you guys to do to your e-bike is add some racks here for your rifle or for your bow. I like mounting mine up here because it's the easiest, convenient way to find where, something to mount. You may want to have something to secure that on there so it doesn't bounce around and fall off. It's a great tool that you can use. You can use it, as I mentioned earlier, in scouting. You can use it from moving from your vehicle to your hunting location. You can use it for hauling deer, depending on weight and terrain, okay? And depending on your specific e-bike. If you want to leave some comments below, that would be great. Thanks for watching. Y'all, remember, no matter what you're going through, give it to God. Turn over your life to Christ, and Christ will set you free from the wages of sin.